and I'm here with Dr. Boyd Haley, one of the preeminent researchers on mercury chelation and detox. Can you just share a little bit about how toxic mercury really is in the human body?
That nothing causes oxidative stress faster and better and more completely than mercury exposure. Now, when you have this problem with oxidative stress, what happens? Mercury goes in and sets on a mitochondrial electron transport chain. And it turns that mitochondria electron transport chain into a hydroxy free radical manufacturing plant. Where it used to make ATP now, that electron transport system is now making hydroxy radicals because that end is blocked and inhibited by mercury, and then you get a huge flood of hydroxy radicals, which is the toxic compound that's produced in the body during inflammation or oxidative stress that causes us to age, get sick, causes our cells to fall apart. So mercury induces oxidative stress, and so you get this plethora of hydroxy radicals that causes the cells essentially to die. Once mercury gets into your brain and gets oxidated, it doesn't come out very fast. I mean, the estimations, some of them I've read have been as high as that mercury has a half-life in the brain of over 27 years. There's absolutely no doubt that mercury, when it gets into the central nervous system, does not come out nearly as fast as it comes out of your muscles, your liver, your heart, and other tissues. Has a very long-lived in the central nervous system. And that's the reason breathing vapors is so, like they come from amalgam fillings, is so toxic. Mercury vapor is uncharged. It can go straight through the roof of your mouth. It goes into your nasal mucosa. It can go straight up your nose, through your olfactory bulb, etc. And it's only when it gets into the brain and it's oxidized from Hg0 with no charge to Hg2 plus that it binds to proteins and has its toxic effect and latches onto a protein and, and has a very long residency time on that protein, inhibiting its function. And it won't kill you immediately, but it does. It's a retention toxicity. It builds up in your body, and as you get older, you pay the price later as the mercury levels reach a certain point in your body where certain organs don't function properly. And this is the problem, and this is the reason it's so difficult to point out the toxicity, but it's real. We can show it in animals. We have shown it in animals. The same thing with mercury, except the rate of mitochondrial damage is much slower than radiation. And when you damage a person's mitochondria and you get that level building up, then all of a sudden they can't maintain a healthy brain, they can't maintain a healthy heart. And that's the real problem, is that it's a slow, insidious toxicity that's very difficult to put a finger on.
Emeromide, NBMI, is what you've been working on for many years. It was OSR back in the day. So describe what emeromide does and why it's so unique.
So this compound, the compound we made, is just really a super glutathione molecule. It's super in its ability to react with hydroxy radicals, scavenging them, preventing them from consuming the glutathione in your body, which is used to remove other toxic organic molecules. And it also binds to mercury that's in the body, rendering it non-toxic. And for example, we've done studies where we have injected rats with increasing lethal levels of mercury, 1 lethal level 2 to 14. And then after half an hour after that mercury has dispersed throughout the rat's body, and in high levels, they're going into convulsions. If we inject this under the skin, the flab of the skin, subcutaneously, we've recovered almost all those rats from mercury toxicity. The next day they will be well, and they will totally recover. If it's a low level, just like 1 or 2 lethal doses, they don't even get sick. You don't see any loss of weight, etc. And when we sacrifice these animals, we've done a study that's coming out, and measure the mercury in their organs, it's there. But there's no outward sign of toxicity. For example, in the 10 rats that were given mercury alone, 6/10 of a lethal dose, 2 of them died. All of them had blood in their urine and feces. All of them lost weight. All of them became ataxic, couldn't walk straight. And at the end of 5 days, we sacrificed them. And compared them to a group that got the same amount of mercury, and then 20 minutes or 30 minutes later, we treated them with the compound by injection under the flab of their skin. They didn't get sick at all. They didn't lose weight. None of them died. None of them had blood in their urine and feces. When they did that and looked at the kidneys, they weren't inflamed at all. So it totally protected. Then you take all of those tissues and you analyze the level of mercury. The compound did not rapidly decrease the amount of mercury that was in the body. That mercury was still there, but it was non-toxic, and that was their conclusion, similar to what we had seen earlier with the lethal dose studies. The mercury is still in your body, but it's tied up by this compound and rendered non-toxic. The bottom line is we have something that's phenomenal. I mean, no one else can talk about anything that would prevent death from multiple lethal doses injected in under your skin of mercury chloride. And this will do that. So we have something that's going to be, we think, effective for treating anyone that has a high level of mercury, cadmium, lead, or arsenic exposure.